There's nothing worse than off-ice antics and drama making its way out of the dressing room and into headlines. It not only takes away from the actual game, but it ends up snowballing into a huge thing, creating a toxic environment, which then leads to players involved being referred to as locker room cancers. Keeping that in mind, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 6 bizarre moments that got NHL players traded. PK Subban. First and foremost, PK explained that he considers himself extremely lucky to have been drafted by a team like the Montreal Canadiens. However, he concedes that it comes with its own set of challenges. He said the tradition with Montreal is that no matter which star players had big names or got bigger than the team, they would trade them. And while this is completely true, it's not the only reason why PK was dealt to Nashville. It was well known and documented that a lot of his teammates did not get along with him. In fact, Subban got into multiple fights with teammates on the ice at practice. We've seen countless footage of PK Subban and Brendan Gallagher going at each other. Then we saw PK and Thomas Plekanec go at it. And then lastly, we even saw PK go at it with David Desharnais. So eventually, after all of this drama, Montreal decided to move on from PK and made a huge deal with the Nashville Predators, sending PK to Nashville and Shea Weber to Montreal. Mike Hoffman. Now this one gets pretty sticky. The wife of the former Ottawa Senator superstar defenseman Erik Karlsson made accusations that had very serious implications for her husband's teammate Mike Hoffman. According to a report from the Ottawa Citizen, Melinda Karlsson had accused Hoffman's longtime girlfriend Monica Carrick of orchestrating a campaign of harassment against her and her husband following the death of their unborn child during the 2017-2018 season. A sworn statement by Melinda Karlsson laid out some serious accusations against Carrick. Melinda said Monica Carrick has uttered numerous statements wishing my unborn child dead. She also uttered that she wished I was dead and that someone should take out my husband's legs to end his career. In a very strange and uncommon move by Erik Karlsson, he lashed out at a user on social media who had mocked him and his wife after the loss of their unborn child. The user, identified only as Sandy Dandy 45, had made ridiculous accusations against Melinda Karlsson and effectively blamed her for the death of her child, saying, "I feel bad for the baby. He didn't have a chance with Melinda popping painkiller medication every day." Karlsson then responded, "How dare you? You have been making fake accounts and buying hacked ones for months to harass me and my wife, but this is an all-new low even for you. You are a disgusting person." So clearly this was Carrick making fake accounts. As you would expect, the Ottawa Citizen reached out to Mike Hoffman for his comments on the situation, but all Mike Hoffman can say was, "There's nothing really for me to say at this time. That's all I can say." Eventually, the Ottawa Senators sent Mike Hoffman to the San Jose Sharks, but within 3 hours of that trade, the Florida Panthers announced that they acquired Hoffman from San Jose in exchange for 3 draft picks. Tyler Seguin. During the summer of 2013, Seguin was in the news for what seemed to be all the wrong reasons. Despite being picked number 2 overall by the Bruins in the 2010 NHL draft, the organization gave up on Seguin just 3 seasons later. Seguin was seen as a type of problem child, a young player who partied too much, missed team breakfasts, and didn't perform the way he was expected to on the ice. Seguin said, "I was in Boston for 2.5 years and I was still a kid, still trying to find my way." He did acknowledge that while the trade to Dallas was a bit of a wake-up call for him, the negative attention he received at the time was difficult to deal with. It didn't help matters when the Bruins showcased the trade in an episode of their behind-the-scenes web series Behind the Beat. The Bruins front office was shown discussing how they thought Seguin was a highly skilled player who lacked toughness and had too many red flags off the ice for the organization to want to keep him. Seguin admitted in a TSN interview that he struggled with those comments. He went on to say that his experience in Boston taught him a lot about how to play in high-intensity situations. He went on to say, "It was awesome because I got to see what it was like to be on a winning organization, seeing all the details of what it takes to be a Stanley Cup champion and be a part of that type of group." Eventually, Boston and Dallas agreed to a 7-player trade, with the Bruins sending forward Tyler Seguin, forward Rich Peverley, and defenseman Ryan Budden to Dallas for forward Louis Eriksson and 3 prospects in Joseph Morrow, Riley Smith, and Matt Frazier. Since making his way to Dallas, Seguin came out swinging and really developed into the player that Boston wanted him to be. He posted 6 consecutive seasons with 70 points or more and has become a huge part of Dallas's leadership group. Martin St. Louis. Martin St. Louis became the first Tampa Bay Lightning player to have his number retired and sent up into the rafters. He has the pedigree, having scored a franchise-best 953 points in 972 games played with the Lightning. But he also had some controversy. Martin St. Louis infamously left Tampa Bay with a trade demand in 2014 as GM Steve Yzerman sent the Lightning captain to the New York Rangers for Ryan Callahan and what eventually became 2 first-round picks. The trade request came for a couple of reasons, one being that Martin St. Louis just wanted to be closer to his family, but the second reason was way more controversial. After Yzerman decided to leave the veteran forward off the roster for Team Canada in the Sochi Olympics, St. Louis decided to turn up the heat on his trade demand, and finally Yzerman granted his wish. The majority of Lightning fans sided with their team and were very angry with St. Louis on this decision. St. Louis had to say, "I respect the fact that many of you do not agree with my decision and are angry with it. All I can say is that I'm sorry, and I'm very appreciative of the support you have shown me through the years. In life, you make decisions, you know. Sometimes you make hard ones. For me, I hope they remember me for what I brought to the team. I came in 2000 to a last place team. I think I left the team in way better shape than when I came. It would have probably been a better story if I'd finished my career there, but there are a lot of variables that come along the way as you get older." Tony DAngelo. Questions regarding DAngelo potentially being racist date back to his time in junior hockey when he was suspended twice for using homophobic, racist, and sexist language. And on top of that, he also abused an official. DAngelo admitted to using the slur toward a former teammate but noted that he took sports psychology counseling classes after the fact and he's still friends with the former teammate. DAngelo was the 19th overall pick in the 2014 NHL draft to the Tampa Bay Lightning, although he never played for the Bolts before getting traded to the Arizona Coyotes. DAngelo has bounced around often during his career, going from Arizona to the New York Rangers to the Hurricanes and now the Flyers. His inability to stick in one place has more to do with his antics than his play. DAngelo got suspended during his one season in Arizona for shoving a referee, and his tenure with the Rangers essentially ended after he got into a locker room altercation with teammate Alexander Georgiev. In the 2019-2020 season, DAngelo had a breakout season with the Rangers, racking up 15 goals and 38 assists for 53 points, as well as a +12 rating, all of which were career best at the time for him. However, the altercation with Georgiev limited him to 6 games the following season, but he signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Hurricanes before the 2021-22 season, and he delivered in a big way. He finished with 10 goals and 41 assists for 51 points to go along with a +30 rating, and helped the Hurricanes reach the playoffs. So although Tony DAngelo has been labeled a locker room cancer several times throughout his career, it seems he has been able to mature and put that all behind him. Patrick Waugh. It was December 2nd, 1995. With the Canadiens off to a mediocre start, Scotty Bowman's league-leading Detroit Red Wings visited the Forum in what was expected to be a solid game. While Waugh hadn't had an amazing start to the year, the team was expected to rebound from a mediocre 94-95 season and rekindle what led them to their 24th Stanley Cup in the 92-93 season. While longtime GM Serge Savard and head coach Jacques Martin had been fired early in the season, they were replaced by 2 candidates with 0 experience in Réjean Houle and Mario Tremblay. With all this, Habs fans still had a reason for hope, especially with Waugh leading the way. However, in this game, things hit the fan quick. As goal after goal trickled in, Canadiens fans began to sarcastically cheer as they watched their team get blown out. As the goals allowed reached 4-5, then to 6 for Waugh, Montreal's star player continually looked to the bench for relief but received little from their new coach Tremblay. It took until the 9th goal of the game for Waugh to finally be yanked out of the net. Understandably pissed off, he removed his equipment, walked over to the team president Ronald Corey, and stated that he just played his last game as a member of the Montreal Canadiens. On December 6, 1995, the Canadiens traded Patrick Waugh to the first-year Colorado Avalanche along with captain Mike Keane in exchange for Andrei Kovalenko, Martin Ruchinski, and Jocelyn Thibault. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button.